been pushed into this position. So, yeah, did the military thing, volunteer, step forward, and everybody stepped back, and I was standing there. So,
What'd you get for daydreaming?
we'll call this EDAB meeting to order at 5:30, and
I'll do the roll call.
roll call.
Okay. DJ Lister, he is excused. Vice Chair Ron Colby.
Present.
Kay Liam.
She is excused. She let me know she was driving from Flagstaff to Page.
Cindy Scott.
Present.
Steve Blevins.
Present.
Robin Marcus. She is on Zoom.
Oh, I saw her name up there. Yeah.
She's on.
Okay. And then Jeremy Butts. Nobody's heard from him. Okay. And City Council Liaison, Richard Leitner.
Here.
Okay, Ron, it's all yours now.
Great. I guess our first order of business is to hear from the citizens, and
Start at the
Minutes.
the priority.
Minutes.
Yeah, we don't have anything on the priority list. And then the
Okay.
next thing would be voting on.
I'm just going
the
over
minutes.
this list here
Okay.
on that. So, all right, the minutes. Has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes?
Not yet.
And then communication
We
development
can
with
give
Mr.
everyone a couple
Martinez.
minutes.
Give everybody, yeah, a couple minutes to look that over. I don't think we had a whole lot last month.
Look at that. All these guys are gone.
Wow.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes from April 27th meeting, 2021.
I second.
Okay, we got a second, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Robin, are you there?
She has chat. It says, I'm here.
Okay,
Where are you seeing that?
on the side.
Right side.
Dude, I can't read. Somebody's got to fix the screen. Who's our IT guy? Where is he? I see him back there.
Well, now, wait a minute. If
I
everybody
can't
else
e- I
can read
can't
it
even
and you
read that
can't, maybe
small.
it's somebody's eyes that need to be fixed.
No. I don't think when I was 20 I couldn't read that small. So,
And she eyed it.
yeah. All right. Okay. Motion passed. Minutes are accepted. And I guess our next order of business.
It's communication. Greg's going to be giving an update.
Yeah, so community development has made some changes. Obviously, Tim Swan's no longer with us. He's with the town of Wickenburg as the deputy town manager. We wish him well, best of luck in the future, and thank him for his efforts down up in Page. With that said, it looks like the position is going to pivot a little bit from community development director to a senior planning official. I believe that Darren wants to see a little bit stronger, more beefed up building and planning with planning and zoning so that we can maybe tackle some of these projects that are coming a little bit more efficiently. It's no secret that we are having a workforce issue. We are still hosting our weekly Zoom meetings, and it has pretty regular attendance from tour operators to hoteliers to SBDC to the community college to some restaurants, and everyone is hurting for workforce. This is not a localized problem. This is not even just countywide or statewide, but it looks like we're going nationwide with this workforce shortage. So we're going to spend some of our time trying to brainstorm and think about how we could improve the situation. Some of the ideas that we have pitched around are not new ideas, but they have to do with like sign-on bonuses, and then obviously a certain amount of time that they have to be there. I know, just speaking with the Hyatt, they're raising their minimum wage and everyone above them $1. So they're going to start, it seems like businesses are going to start spending extra money on employees, in which case I don't know if that'll even coax them out of not wanting to work. We'll just have to wait and see. We got the bad news from the Navajo Nation that Jonathan Nez has vetoed the reopening of the Slot Canyons. His opinion was based that the current legislation that was sent to him wasn't well defined and rushed, and so they're holding a special session, I believe, tomorrow or Thursday, and he seems agreeable to reopen parks to visitors at 50% based on the code. He is very nervous about this Delta variant. So we'll see what ends up happening, but he also acknowledged that to override him would be a 2/3 vote. Well, the legislation received 100% support. So all they needed were 16 signatures. They had that within a heartbeat. It looks like he wants to work more closely with the council to make this happen. Talking with our tour operators and Michelle Monroe, and I even been talking with Monica out of Goldings in Monument Valley. They are ready to open. They feel like they have safe procedures in place. Lower Antelope, like Ken's Tours, won't be able to open up at 50%, only because they typically have about 125 employees. So even if the president sets it at 50, they only have enough employees to cover 25% of bookings. I don't know if that's the case for the rest of the Slot Canyon individuals, but I would say it's a lot of them. On top of that, we have, looks like season's doing pretty good. The Hyatt for the entire month at over $200 ADRs at 90% occupancy the entire month, not just weekends. Obviously, our budget-friendly hotels are at 100% capacity. Their ADRs are slowly creeping up, which does generate a lot of our sales tax revenue. So we should be very excited about that. Obviously, the news about the lake hasn't always been positive, but I have been seeing the Salt Lake Tribune, right? It's the Salt Lake Tribune. They've been putting a lot of positive spins on Lake Powell being low. So we piggyback off of that as a marketing scheme to repost that and reshare that on our Facebook and our visit page. But people are canceling because they're being misinformed. We recently had a meeting with the National Park Service. It wasn't great. They didn't have great news when it came to the lake levels. They believe we will hit dead pool this year. And for all those who don't know what dead pool is, that's when there's not enough water to turn the turbines. Additionally, they believe the lowest point the lake will ever reach, except for when it was on its way up, will happen in February of 2022. But with these dry, hot, windy conditions, they believe that could be up as early as December or January. They have a contingency plan put in place as far as putting in new ramps. Now, obviously the news about the lake being low and dead pool is extremely negative, but if there's a silver lining in this black cloud, they are finding the original boat launch ramps that were built in the 1960s.
Finding them.
Yes.
Finding it. Not that they should know where it is already, right?
Precisely.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm a
So
little-
they have found them, and that's what they're planning on doing. They want $11 million of infrastructure improvement money. They made it very well known that Utah is a very good partner to them, as well as Airmark, and that apparently the city of Page and Arizona aren't as good of partners. So it wasn't contentious, to say the least, but it certainly wasn't comfortable. But we're trying our best to make it work. I think we had both federal representation, all three branches really. We had both our senators. And then also Congress O'Halloran's people were there as well, zooming in.
Not them personally, but just their staff.
Their staff. And they essentially were just like, what's the number? How much money do you need to make this happen? And he was reluctant to give said number, but he also wanted to prioritize the Utah side of the lake's ramps first. So that's Hall's Crossing and Bullfrog.
All of them, except for Antelope.
Right.
But Wally launched ramp.
Wallweep is on
State,
Arizona.
there'd be State Line, Bullfrog,
Yeah.
and Hall's Crossing.
Correct, but he wants to first fix Hall's Crossing and Bullfrog, and then he'll get to Wawweep.
And height.
Height's so
Height's
far out of the
done.
water that'll never even.
Height's done.
It's dead, yeah.
It's dead. But the issue with Hall's Crossing and Bullfrog is a lot of people don't know that's actually a federal highway going through there and with the ferry. So they have to, there's some kind of ordinance or whatever, they have to maintain that to keep that highway open from, even before when the lake was open, that road was in place. So
Yeah.
that's part of the agreement, is to keep a ferry or something going through there. And that, for traffic.
Right.
Robin.
I think that as
Not
long
that
as
I agree with it, I'm just giving you information.
Well, from what I understand, Wowee ramp won't disappear even at dead pool levels.
Lone Rock and
That
State
ramp
Line.
goes that low.
So
that-
the
go
picture
ahead.
they showed me was that they could help it make a turn, but if they were to continue to build it, there's like another 30 to 40 feet before it hits a 200-foot drop
Yeah.
The original launch
on
ramp.
the north side.
Original launch ramp goes down and then it goes downstream. It does make a turn.
Yeah.
It makes a hook to the right and goes out in front of where the houseboats and everything are now, but it's not very wide. I mean, it's not even wide as the boulevard is, so they can't launch houseboats or, make a turn across that and do stuff like that, so that's an issue.
Yeah, and State Line will be out of the water by then.
Right, well, yeah, and they can only go, I think, what is it, Rich, like 60 more linear feet, not depth-wise, but linear out
Yeah,
before it hits that ledge.
yep.
And that, so.
Robin, is there anything you want to add?
I do not have any additional information, Greg.
Any other questions about our MPS and Lake Powell meeting? I mean, we'll see. I mean, well, let's hope for a really, 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 really wet and heavy snowfall winter and see if that makes a difference. Obviously, it's not a great situation, but we'll do what we can. I went down to Flagstaff last week to visit with the Arizona Office of Tourism, put in a reverse expo with the Mexican, Visit Mexico basically. And apparently the Mexican traveler prefers places like Scottsdale, San Antonio, because they like shopping and they like being in big cities. What they were telling us is that Page is their perfect destination at this point, because now they're seeking more family fun and adventures, and not one of them knew that there was a city next to Grand Canyon, Lake Powell, Colorado River, and the Antelope Canyons. They knew all the assets. They knew Horseshoe Bend. They're just like couldn't believe that there was a city right there. So I did a lot of my efforts educating them, but I do think that will be our very first international market to return. And in fact, some of those international Mexico individuals have already started frequenting us in Page. So for me, I see an opportunity to do marketing in a way that we haven't done in the past. We typically keep it domestic and allow AOT and other like tour operators to do the advertisement internationally, but I think in the future we're going to have to be more masters of our own destiny when it comes to that. They loved our area. They're very impressed. They thought it was beautiful, and they said they couldn't wait to come visit. So,
We actually had some of them come in and rent bikes, so.
yeah, it's real. They really want to be here, and they loved the idea. They said they didn't want to drive here. They want to fly here. When they knew that you could fly American Airlines with one ticket, jump on Contour and get here, their next question is how do we get around? Well, okay, Avis Car Rental. So if we continue to see an increase of travelers that are looking to rent cars, we may have to approach Avis about increasing their fleet. And then we run into the problem right as an airport that where are they going to be? Where are they going to be put, right? There's no more parking for them, and that seems to be the biggest issue. So we may have a brainstorming session in the near future where we can create some tangible results so that we can keep our airport thriving. And I really think the airport is one of our best assets that we have. Any other questions? I think that's about it for me.
Anyway, we're good?
I think we're good.
All right.
Well, the one question I had, so, with the slot canyons with Nez voting it down, and I don't get, I think those employees will come back quick from the nation for that, but the CARE Act is causing a lot of havoc on the nation because of the amount of money that they're being fed. How do we, is there anything we could do to try to change that? What could we do?
Yeah, so I think there's a perception. There's the wrong perception. The wrong perception is that even if you're vaccinated, you're still at a high risk of getting sick and dying. So that's the first thing we need to do is create more consumer confidence when it comes to the vaccinations. Because to me, that's what I'm hearing is that they're still using that not as an excuse or a crutch, but it's something that is what is being told to people. The second part is that competitive wages versus how much you're making on unemployment, they may have to intercede coordinate role, right? They're not management, they're not supervisors, and they're not psychological breakdown where it's like, this is my vacation, this is where I get to take vacation. So I think there also needs to be some marketing and some messaging that gets, hey, it's like the parties, when the party's over, don't be caught, alone, so to speak. And that's really what's going to happen is they're going to increase wages to beat the CARES Act money and unemployment. And there's only going to be a handful of jobs available. And then we're going to have, in the future, my prediction is we're going to have unemployment issues. Right now we're having employment issues. And I'm going to say 6 to 12 months down the road, we're going to have unemployment issues. And so I think all we can do is continue messaging, PSAs. But honestly, this is a national problem, right? Like,
Yeah.
if we can fix that, let's go take on Washington, D.C. next.
What, you mentioned Hyatt and a few others raising their minimum wages. Do you know what their top, or what they're starting at, other than just a dollar above what minimum?
Minimum right now is what, $12.50?
12, I think.
12?
Oh, it's 12,
15.
15, I think is what the state is.
So my daughter, who is 17, works at Bay Mountain front desk. She has 2 months of experience before taking that job. She's getting $13.50.
Yeah, McDonald's is starting to work. 13.
Yeah.
That.
So my guess is the businesses are going to adapt the McDonald's model, or not, and the Flagstaff model, which is 15 an hour. That's my guess. That's going to be the point of intersection that are going to motivate people to get to work, I think.
I think Walmart has a national thing of $15 an hour going on too, so.
Yeah, and I think, didn't I see something on one of their ads that they're offering a bonus if you stick with them for 6 months?
Yeah,
and-
6 months and some things, and even for recruitment stuff for their employees to recruit. And we've tried that ourselves, but unfortunately it doesn't work 100% of the time.
No.
Maybe only 50, not even 50%. But yeah, when you got to compete against everybody else, and then still our turnover rate right now is extremely high. And we're starting into our slow season again, starting to ramp down, so that's fixing a few things. But like you said, the unemployment piece is going to become a big concern where employers, because of the tourist season, everything winds down in 3 or 4 months, we're not going to need anybody, and so those people who elect not to work right now are going to be, left behind in that, so it's going to be a big issue.
Yeah, it's a whirlwind of events, right? We're just coming ourselves out of a pandemic. Lake levels are going down, and
Well, it ain't the
workforce
first time
is
we've
hard
had to deal with
find.
this rodeo either, so, I mean, of this sort of thing,
Right.
wages and everything else. Go ahead.
As I just got back from Moab, and there were signs everywhere, $17 and $18 an hour at Wendy's, McDonald's.
Wow.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
shocked
Yeah.
on their
But then
marquee.
it's nice to go to Kanab and I can buy a McDonald's breakfast meal for $8 and it's costing me $12 here. So it's it's a big issue.
It always gets
So
passed.
do you drive over every morning and?
Just about. The truck gets 32 miles to the gallon, so I can go over there for 2 gallons of gas and back.
Is there any other questions for communications on the Economic and Community Development Department?
All right, well, we'll adjourn that side if nobody has anything else, and we'll move on to our next issue. I discovered my proper handout instead of last week's city council meeting.
We do
With
have
that,
to
I'm
accept
sorry.
DJ's resignation.
Oh, yes.
What's that? Do you want to do that with new business or what?
Yeah, we'll do that with
Okay.
new business.
All right. So I guess item 6, hear from the citizens. If anybody, citizens here in the hall or would like to speak.
Dave? You're good?
It's nice to see a smiley face in the meeting here.
All night,
Tomorrow night.
Well, we have council.
We have council tomorrow night. So.
He's saving his time to shine for tomorrow.
All right, well, we may be shaping up for a real short meeting. That's okay. Public hearings,
There's none.
none? Unfinished business?
None.
Okay, new business. I guess the first order of new business would be the recognition.
New position with Dixie Ellis. It seems like he is the intern. But what Michelle and Ken's tours have been doing is diversifying their product and page. And told that there's a couple of more projects on the horizon, which actually leads us up really well to discussion and possible action on new strategic priorities. But we'll get to that when we're all done accepting resignation.
Okay, and so do we need to
Have
accept
to
or?
vote on it, because they're actually, tomorrow night at city council is when they do all that. So,
Okay, and then are we still missing one other person on the board?
We are missing one other person, but council does have to take action because we do have one additional application in Yvonne Tran. Did I say that?
correct.
Correct. And so they could choose to accept her application tomorrow maybe, or we can go back to the drawing board and see what we want to do there.
Okay,
She was the third applicant in the group looking for 2 seats, so.
for the 2 seats?
Yeah. And I've met her a couple of times. I personally think she's a good business background, and I think she would add something in Salt Lake City.
I was just gonna say, we have an Asian Chamber of Commerce in Page.
In Salt Lake City.
All right, okay, well, no matter what, it's all good, you know, I just I had never heard of that before, so, all right, that's good. Do we have is there any other members on that? So we'll have a full board
We'll
after
still
that?
have unless somebody else is resigning.
Okay. Steve? I don't know, I saw you sitting in the audience, I wasn't sure.
He wasn't know if you
All
were
right,
resigning.
okay, I just checking, double checking.
Boy.
New order of business for me is we had a proposal to the city that the board may or may not look at is for a major bass fishing tournament coming to town. It could possibly bring in other outlying states anywhere from 200 to 250 boats, which means about 500 competitors plus the support staff. It's a 3-day event. They're usually here for about 6 to 7 days for the whole event and practice and things like that. They're looking for some assistance from the city. And they give away a boat, fully rigged bass boat. They're looking for assistance to purchase the bass boat and help support their staff with manpower and money to fund their hotels and things like that doing it. As I met with them, the timing would be, early mid-March to mid to late April. I don't think we have any other, with the water coming down and everything else too, they're kind of looking at something a little bit more current, but I just don't think as a lake is handling things that we could support it. Nor I don't think that we as a city could support how much money they're looking for, but maybe we could do something on a contingency plan on the number of entries they get. Page has been a really wonderful destination in some of the professional tournaments I've fished here, but to get 200 boats for that period of time, a lightning bolt would have to strike here to make it happen or something, so but maybe as we work things out, and first thing we did was point them to the Park Service because of the issues we have with Park Service, the city of Page.
So I did get an email today. He has already gone and contacted some people in the Park Service, and just
has
like
he?
I said on
Bill?
Saturday,
Yeah?
he said he expects no problems
Oh, well,
with any permits.
I will buy him a drink if that's the case. So then we'll know where our issues are with Park Service, right?
Probably just you and me.
Yeah. I might have to resign because I'm a wanted man out there, but whatever. But anyway, just throwing that out there that if the board or, as far as timing goes, and the length of thing, it's a longer event than the balloon regatta. It can bring a lot more people. A lot of people from the internal of Page come out to the balloon regatta, but the anglers and the people who are participating in the event are from out of state, anywhere from Washington to Colorado, New Mexico, California, and Arizona, and that. But it does generate a lot of money for especially gas stations and the hotels.
Well, I really like, and to answer Robin's question, it's in 2022, yes. I like that, like maybe during some of these strategic priorities that we need to start reviewing is, what if we do 2 bookend events of our season? One's in March is a bookend event that we help out with, which may or may not be this past Western Outdoor Tournament, and then the other bookend would be Balloon Regatta.
Right.
So I mean, that could be part of the strategic priorities. I think that we will need to do a workshop to refine what we need to do moving forward. I have a couple more ideas with that, but I'm going to let you finish.
Right, and work on that. And there's another event that's kind of, as this one started, was actually with Bassmaster, which is one bass. The people who were here were more regional, Western, and the Bassmaster stuff is more of a national event. They're looking at trying to bring an event here also, which is an event which is a regional national thing where they bring 12 teams from all 12 Western states, and they're here for about 8 to 9 days also. So that's in the progress also. I mean, they're not asking quite as much as what this other event is looking for. They don't give away a boat and things like that, but it would still be they usually hold this event. We've held this event up in Bullfrog several times over the last 20, 30 years. It's about every 5th or 6th year it's been held at Bullfrog, and they just don't have the facilities to handle it now.
Does that still be in October?
They've had it anywhere from October to March or April, and I personally, being here, I'd want him to concentrate in the spring. No, he's not.
Okay, I just didn't know if he would be a good contact point.
No, in that. So current contact with Bassmaster and WN is with Greg. They've reached out to him and Darren and that to do that, and then time and wanting to bring that event here to Wauweep, not to Bullfrog, because there are issues.
I mean, I don't have any problems with the volunteering or the marketing money or promotional money. Like $10,000 of marketing, which they're asking for, is pretty typical of what we would spend on a normal marketing anyway.
Sure.
The issue I have is taxpayer money buying a boat. To donate a boat to us with their logos or try to collect money to pull it together, it's hard for me to do a $30,000 boat.
It'd be very hard for me to make a presentation to the city council
Right.
to purchase that boat or spend that money, and is what that would equal to, and then we have 60 or 70 show up, which has been the historic average on that. Yes, sir.
Now, Robin had a good question too, is how do you launch 200 boats
And
with one long?
And that's my issue I brought up last week during our meeting with those guys, the water issue and everything else. There's probably not going to be
What's the Ultra?
at this time of year, there'd be absolutely no way you could handle that. Make some concessions and it varies on so much out there for 2022. I'm just presenting it, that it's out there, whether it happens in 2022 or we can push it off into 2023 or something, more favorable conditions, but we can still be looking at it to try it out there every day, right now, in the amount of parking and everything else. So, but that's right now. But in March, when I've gone out there in March and there's like 10 boats in a parking lot, that's a different story. And that's why I'm trying to extending almost all the way into Thanksgiving if the weather's nice. So there's still a lot of traffic out there, and we just don't want to disrupt that. Give the pleasure boaters the opportunity, plus the anglers the opportunity to enjoy the lake, and no conflicts,
It's going to be a mess.
no matter what.
Yeah, as it goes down into
Yeah.
Wauweep Canyon, and you have to deal with the canyon all the way down.
Launching boats by helicopter, or something, I guess.
Maybe I better talk to the company about getting a Swarovski in here.
Some big dollars right there.
Yeah, we'll do something like that. But anyway,
A little bit more and see what we
and
can.
it's a lot like we told them is all about Park Service and their cooperation with the city and the permits and the state of Utah. because
Can't have one without
the
the
fishing
other.
permits are way different than an event permit. From Park Service to that, it's a matter of Fish and Wildlife and that, and they don't seem to cooperate too well together either. So being on that. All right, I'm done with that. Any questions? On that?
We'll
other
keep
new
you
business?
informed as it goes.
We're good?
I think we're good. We're just
I'm sorry, Sherry.
discussion and possible action for the strategic priorities is next.
Really, I think we need to have a workshop set. And that's really the action is that we have new board members. It's important because the old strategic plan that we had in place or priorities were based off of previous board members, and it's of the utmost importance to get the new members, their voices into the new strategic priorities.
Sure.
I think a lot of things have changed
Oh yeah, since the
The last
Dramatically.
18 months.
in the last 18 months since we first started, so I agree with that 100%. I would like to see us have a work session maybe with a full board, so we'll task council to get somebody else to fill the last position, or open positions. I'm sure there's plenty of people that want to get on. There was more than enough who tried to get on after the two spots came open. So
we have one more applicant that.
if we've got
is still there.
applicants still, let's get them to task. See if they can do what we need. But we're also going to need to elect a chair.
Agreed. I think that this board has only the surface of its potential for one reason or another. And I think that if we can do a workshop, strategic priority workshop, and maybe make it not just a one-day thing, but a couple of day thing where we really focus and then work the plan and then renew it each year, I think we can really start accomplishing some of the goals our community wants us to accomplish. What I felt in the past about this board was it was kind of just a communications board without action, and I feel like we could give good action to the council to make the decision that they need to make based off of ideas that we've worked. So that's where I would like to see us go. Obviously, I'm not the board, but I think that we could really help kickstart the next couple of years as we move past this pandemic.
I agree, and I think that we had several people on the board that were hesitant to go, we need to brand this and do it, send it to council. This is, if you want to see development, they were afraid to do that. They were afraid to do a lot of things.
Or even leadership.
Leadership, so, yeah, we absolutely need to, so I think we need to get a full board and get a new chairperson elected and get this thing moving forward.
So they're going to vote Yvonne Tran on tomorrow.
Is it on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
I
cool.
put it on the agenda.
Maybe we should focus on doing something like the week after the 4th of July. So like maybe we do a workshop that's the week of the 5th to the 9th.
When are you guys back?
You won't be.
Person before we do that?
I'll be out of town that week.
Okay. Well, we definitely need every member there, most importantly. So what I can do is I can send out is it called a doodle? Is that what it is? All right, I'll send out a doodle with some dates and times, and I'll get it to a strong strategic priority. And with all the changes that have happened, and I just feel like I'm kind of flailing in the wind a little bit. I want to get a little bit more structure.
Yes, agreed. For our next meeting is to elect a chair.
Yes, will do.
Do we have to, what's the rules on that, on the attendance and things like that,
Those people will vote.
right?
But if we don't have us, we can't even have a meeting.
All right.
We don't have enough. That, and it makes it really hard for
In
summertime.
fact, I think I'm gonna be gone about
Make it work. We'll make it happen.
but I
At 4:30. Council does the same thing with work sessions, right? Your council meeting's at 5:30, but if your work session is an hour earlier. So we could do the same thing. I always like being fed, but I guess we can go without it.
I'll just take it out of your budget.
Thanks.
Zero from zero is still zero, right?
Order?
Did you guys want to do a work session before our next?
Yeah, should we just go ahead and plan that? Or during that board meeting, we can discuss if we need another work session? And then priorities, you can always reach out to me. We can brainstorm together before that.
We have come up with, so.
Yeah, which is very, like, synergy, right? That's the most important thing. Working together, not against each other.
Synergy.
Right.
Yeah, and I would definitely, during that work session, I would like, to make sure that you're there, Rich, to hit us with that stuff as well. Of what, because I don't always make the council meetings anymore, so
But it's not.
between planning and zoning and this one, I'm pretty busy.
But I'm like,
And your and your business.
Business,
I can
so,
send
yeah.
it to you as a blank.
But, no, that, I would like to hit a lot more on that,
Thank
so.
you.
Perfect.
Okay, so we,
July
27th,
7th.
I think.
Yeah, 27th.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
okay.
Sounds good to
Oh.
me.
Everybody
Excellent.
agreed on that one?
Yep.
All right. So
You guys
4:30.
will have your strategic priorities done before then, right?
Supposed to be,
I want to,
yeah, supposed to be coming out.
real quick, thanks, Robin, for letting me know that that ultra race is on March the 12th. So we'll keep that into consideration. Anything else going on out there in the park or recreation area? It's not a park. To get like 6 inches from the screen, Rich. So
You gotta get, I gotta go back
I
here.
take my
to read it.
glasses off too. So.
It
All
probably
right.
should be noted also, shouldn't it, sir, that when people don't come to meetings, there's a big chance that they get appointed to something?
Well, that's like I said, the military volunteer.
Right.
Everybody who wants to volunteer for this step forward, and everybody takes a step back, and whoever's left standing there,
right.
you've been volunteered. So, just want to let everybody know that you may be volunteered without being volunteering. So,
Nice.
a volunteer appointment. All right. Anything else we need to do? Okay.
And adjourn, just everybody make a list of what they want to talk about.
At the workshop, yeah.
Yeah, and it's also important to know that tomorrow the council strategic priorities will be voted on, and then not too long after that, it'll be put on the cityofpage.org website. So,
Should be by the end of the week, I
yeah.
think.
So that way you guys can
Yeah, at least let's,
see how you agree or what you'd like to expand on.
Will they discuss any kind of budget stuff tomorrow, Rich, on like how the sales revenue and everything's been impacted as it's been coming back up or something?
Yeah, we'll get a report on it.
So, and we reduced the budget to, with the $2 million grant care money, we're gonna close out about 13 million for the year. Monies for a
I
boat.
can't speak for the council, I can only speak for 1/7 of it.
Yeah, no.
I can't support that.
Right-
Marketing
right now, I'd vote against
promotion,
that anyway,
no
so-
problem.
Sold this year, can't they just give one up?
Numbers right now, but I can very welcome.
At the council meeting, and so far, it's been holding its own.
Yeah, it's still down 50-some% from.
That brings up,
Starting
yeah,
to come back, like,
Yeah.
we're getting, Talk Tours has signed with us since Antelope isn't open, and some of the other tours have talked to, Debbie and Lynn.
yeah.
And so, yeah, we're getting the buses back, which are the big ticket items.
I mean, I think we're doing okay considering a lot of our limitations. I mean, we're an island around a bunch of federal property that we get very little say on.
and I was looking at the Grand Canyon and its visitation is down almost 50%.
Yeah, and it's gonna get worse with all those fires down there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because they're
Coconino
shutting a lot of the
Kaimab
forest
National
down.
Forest just closed all their stuff as of tomorrow.
Yes.
Grand Canyon isn't in Arizona either, is it? I heard something where most people didn't know that Grand Canyon.
Oh, they think it's in Nevada? They think it's in Nevada?
Like that.
Yeah. I mean, we're only the Grand Canyon state, but it's in Utah.
Yeah. Well, that cracks me up about that because the advertising, the Grand Canyon State, and they usually have like Monument Valley, which is in Utah,
Yeah.
or something else posted on their stuff. So.
We could be the slot canyon state.
Yeah, but
You know,
but
and
that,
even
they're
if
all
they
closed
only
now
open
too.
at
so.
25, if Ken's only able to do 25%, that's still a ton of money for them. It brings people in.
Yeah, yeah, and that's just them. We don't know what Upper is going to be able to do. We don't know what Dixie Ellis will be able to do. They may be able to go up 50. The most important aspect of them reopening is you're going to see an increase of those tour buses dramatically. And talking with National Park Express, they're not able to bring their buses out because they're Horseshoe Bend, Antelope Canyon. And right now, that people are waiting until Antelope Canyon to open. So once it opens, we're going to see Horseshoe Bend do significantly better,
Right.
as well as our downtown.
Can't they do like Buckskin Gulch? I mean,
Yeah, which has been a good pivot for our community. There are tour operators that are already doing tours at Buckskin Gulch Wire Pass, which I never thought I'd see, but here we are. So there are multiple businesses that are already running tours off of Buckskin Gulch. In fact, Buckskin Gulch was rated the best hike in America
Yep.
by the
Wire
LA
Pass.
Times.
Wire Pass.
Yeah, Wire Pass, yeah. And then Lake Powell was rated the best lake in America by FOTARS. So two very powerful media outlets that have named us as the best.
And the positives I've seen where someone's written some articles I thought I read over the weekend where they're kind of pushing the, go and see the new side canyons where, they weren't available and see the beaver and see the,
Yeah.
see the trees start coming back up and all that stuff, so.
I mean, I'm not saying that we did anything, but remember months ago we started pushing that on our Facebook? Come discover the treasure that the receding waters are letting out. And then I saw it almost exactly like that wording in some of the
A
newspapers.
lot of YouTube stuff coming out is really positive on
Yeah.
the lake level going.
You guys must have blocked me on that since I didn't get like 12,000 pop-ups on my.
Okay, that was different. The power of technology.
did anybody see the Davies Canyon on the lake where it's all green grass growing in there now? It was
Yeah.
on today on Facebook. It's beautiful. And 2 people are walking through the grass there.
Yeah. It's nice.
No such thing as bad publicity, just if you can't control your narrative.
Just as long as they don't say we need to make the whole lake that way and the drain. So
mean,
The YouTube videos are crazy what it does to tourism. Have any of you guys driven by the cave that's up on the hillside by Mookie Cave?
Okay, yeah.
Mookie Cave, there's that cave, it's about a half mile down the road. You cannot drive by there and there is not at least 150 cars parked there
Correct.
with a whole stream of people hiking up to
Yes.
that stupid cave
Yes.
because of the YouTube videos.
Yes.
Yep.
It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. So, the more we can see out here at the lake, people doing that, that's only gonna
Yep.
push it further, so.
Yeah, and that article on Davis Canyon was pretty good because it also, it gave a good view of everything there. Mm-hmm. So,
all right. Well, anything else? If not, then I'll make a motion to adjourn. Can I do that?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You
Any
can just
seconds?
adjourn the meeting. You don't even need to make a motion. You say the meeting's adjourned.
All right. Well, I'll make that motion. That we'll adjourn the meeting at 6:18 and look forward to seeing everybody next month.
Absolutely.
Positively. Bye, Robin.
Thanks, Ron. Bye. Thank you.
See you, Robin.
Oh, she spoke up.